Hi everyone. You know that expression, don't judge a book by its cover? Well, today we're going to be really digging into that as we consider how do we choose a just right book, meaning a book that is just right for us. Not too hard, not too easy. During this week, I'm going to be showing you all these different places where you can be finding books. In fact, you might start to feel overwhelmed by all of the choices that are out there. So when faced with so many books, how can you choose one that is just right for you? One way we might choose books is by looking at the cover. Which cover draws us in and is exciting? Which one has an interesting title or a neat picture with a character on the front that we like? The covers of books are meant to draw our attention, but sometimes you might find that a book might have a really exciting cover, and then as soon as you open it up and start reading, you start to realize this book isn't for me. Either it's too hard or too easy or isn't that interesting. So today I want to give you a few other strategies to find a book that is just right for you, that goes beyond looking at the cover. To help us do this, we are going to be using a strategy called iPick. The P stands for purpose. What is the purpose of reading this book? Why am I reading? What kind of book am I looking for? That could be whether you're seeking a book to find a specific fact, like you're doing some research or want to answer a question, or it might be that you're looking for a book that's funny or full of action. What are you looking to read right now? Once you know the type of book you're looking for, you can usually search for books that fit either within that genre or that topic and narrow down your selection. Then it's time to try some books on for size. So let's say I pick up a book, like this one, The Good Egg. I really like the cover, and I open it up, and then I need to start asking myself some very important questions. 1, does it interest me? Meaning when I start reading it, is it holding my attention? I'm happy to be reading. I'm excited. Usually we can tell we're interested in a book when we don't want to put it down. Even when our family member is saying, hey, it's time to go to the park. And you say, aw, really? I don't want to stop. That is a sign that you've found a book that you really like and you're interested in. So remember, as an iPick, the I stands for interest. Does the book interest you? Next comes the letter C for comprehension, meaning do I understand what I'm reading? Do I understand the book? A good check is to ask yourself at the end of every page, do I remember what just happened? Can I remember the main characters? Can I tell somebody what's going on in my book and really get the key points? You don't need to remember every single detail, but we want to be reading books that we are comprehending and getting a lot out of. We understand them and we can explain them and really get a lot out of it. And finally, K. Do we know most of the words? A good rule that many teachers recommend is called the 5-finger rule. That means for each page, there should ideally be 5 words or less that you don't know. Meaning when you start reading, if you come to a word you don't know, start counting it off on your fingers. If you get to the end of the page and you are at 6 or beyond words, maybe that book is one that could be a goal book for you, one that you want to work towards getting to, but might be a little bit too tough for you now. Mainly because we want to be able to understand what's going on in the book. And if we're having to look words up in the dictionary back and forth, or we don't understand a lot of what's happening on the page, we might not be getting as much out of that book as we'd like. My final piece of advice is to think of your books like food. Yes, I don't mean to eat your books, but I mean to compare them to how you would go about choosing a healthy meal for yourself. For instance, we might like reading books that are super easy for us because we enjoy reading them. They're kind of like dessert books. An example of a dessert book for me might be a comic book like Calvin and Hobbes. Calvin and Hobbes doesn't necessarily push me as a reader, but I get so much enjoyment out of it. It makes me really happy, and I love reading this book whenever I'm feeling down or just want something that's kind of like dessert, something I really enjoy. Sometimes we have to read books that are kind of like eating our vegetables, books that we know are really good for us or are giving us things that we need, like information. These books sometimes might be pushing us and might be a little bit harder. So for me, an example of a vegetable book would be this one. It's big. I sometimes have a little bit of trouble getting through it because there's so much information, but I really want to get everything out of it, all those vitamins and minerals, all that really good information. Another example of that would be like a college textbook. It's not easy reading, but it's good for me. Books that are good for us are books that are on our reading level, that we understand and that we enjoy reading. And that might look different for each of us. So for me, I sometimes read lighter chapter books like this one, which don't have as many pictures, but the chapters are shorter. And this is right at my reading level. I enjoy reading this. It's a good speed for me. I understand it and I get a lot out of it. And other times, a book that is at my reading level is a really thick one like this. Now, I love this book, and I honestly got through this in 3 days because I could not put it down, and it was so good. But this is obviously intimidating if you just looked at it from the outside. So remember that this might look different for each of us. And similar to food, if I was to eat one type of food for every single meal, every single day, I would probably get sick of it and I would stop growing, right? I wouldn't be getting all of those wonderful nutrients that I need to grow. So I want you to think about that as a reader. Do you find that you're reading the same type of book all the time? I know many of you all love graphic novels. So do I. I love reading graphic novels, but if you only read graphic novels, your brain isn't going to grow and learn how to read all the other types of books that are out there. So just like with food, we want to have a balanced meal. Try to choose different books from different genres. Try to choose different books from different languages. I hope this helped you choose some good books today. We're going to have a lot of fun checking out Maayan and Sora and finding an assortment of books that work for you, that are just right. I'll see you soon. Bye.